This is Gommecourt number 2 cemetery. It's a Commonwealth War Graves cemetery, and 100 years ago exactly it stood in the middle of no man's land. The British front line was just over there, and 320 yards away was the German front line, just down there. That morning, it wasn't like today, grey, rather overcast, and it's been pretty poor weather the last couple of days. But it was beautiful, bright sunshine, and we can't imagine exactly how it looking then, because the whole area had been subject to a barrage of artillery. The barrage was in preparation for this morning 100 years ago, which was going to be the first day of the first battle of the Somme. It was the blackest day in British military history, because within the next 24 hours and very much largely in the next half hour, nearly 60,000 British soldiers would be killed or wounded along a front 25 miles south from here. One of those soldiers, just over there, was my great uncle Archibald. He was with the London Rangers, and as he 100 years ago might have looked at his watch, he would not have known, could not have known, that within the next hour he would be dead. I say that because we don't know. He might only have been wounded, but unfortunately, because the Germans refused to allow stretcher bearers to come to no man's land under truce, the wounded were left to die where they fell. He was one of a number of my great uncles who fought in that war, all volunteers, and one of 2 to be killed. But only Archibald died today, 100 years ago. He doesn't have a grave, because all his mother received from the War Department was a notification that he was missing, believed killed in action. And that's all she ever heard, and she was mortified. Like many families between the wars, my parents came to France and to Belgium to look and find the graves of their relatives, to lay flowers. And before my mother and father came in 1933, her mother said to mine, "Whether you find Archibald's grave or not, when you come back, would you tell Granny, his mother, that you did find it and that you laid her flowers at the grave?" Because that would give her what I suppose today we'd call closure. Well, my mother and father did come, and they did look, and they didn't find it, because, as I said, he has no known grave. Years later, when the Commonwealth War Grave Commission put their records online, we discovered that in fact his name is engraved on the great memorial at Archibald. And we came here and brought some flowers and laid them on one of the many gravestones here, which mark the resting place of an unknown soldier. Looking around here today, it's really difficult to imagine the hell of mud, shattered trees, blown up earth that this must have looked like 100 years ago. As I say, here in this tract of land, all these soldiers are resting peacefully, because it is absolutely incredibly peaceful. I certainly hope Archibald is.